Uh, Thank you very much for having us here. And thank you, Vukosi. I don't see you. Did you go back to Shwane already? For the wonderful introduction. My name is Clement Nyirenda. I am from the University of the Western Cape, here in Cape Town, from the E-Research Unit, which is in the office of the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation. And in our work, we work with researchers to help them with advanced ICT solutions to speed up their research. And we happen to find ourselves in the food space because of the work that is going on at UWC through the Center of Excellence on Food Security. So I have two legs. One leg is in this office, and one leg is in the Department of Computer Science, where I am the associate professor. And my colleague sitting down there, who will come after me because we are presenting together, Dr. Frederick Isingizwe. We are actually from the same E-Research Unit. I think he is more of a food person than me. So from this presentation, if you have lots of questions, please direct them to him. I'm joking, we are in it together. So I say that we find ourselves in the food space because of our work with the Center of Excellence for Food Security. Prof. Julian May, 2 years ago, contacted me to work with him on a proposal to the German DAAD, German government through the DAAD, on resilient and sustainable agriculture and applied food data science. I hope you can say that. Which we codenamed Ukudla, which is, I think, food. So we successfully got funding for that center, and it is running from this year at UWC. So we will not talk more about that because we have been given the scope as to what we can talk here. So in our presentation, we decided to give a brief introduction, then talk about AI in food systems with some insights from the Global South, and then some AI-driven food systems research at UWC, and then opportunities in AI as far as food systems are concerned in South Africa, then challenges also, then some strategic recommendation and a conclusion. So, did I go far? Okay. So, introduction, AI in food systems. The fact is that there are growing challenges in food systems, talking about climate change, population growth, food insecurity and sustainability demands. And along with this, AI has come as one of the tools to address these challenges, as we have seen from the earlier presentation. And the tools that are mainly used is machine learning, which we saw in the previous presentation, computer vision, natural language processing, large language models, and robotics. And this helped to improve decision making by bringing in intelligence. And why we go this route is because there is a lot of data that is for food systems, satellite sensors, surveys, and many others. On the other hand, we also have increasing computational power, cloud computing resources, and open source AI tools are also available. And in terms of some AI food systems in the Global South, we will look at a number of cases that we picked. And I just want to make some declarations and disclaimers here before I go on. The cases that we selected, we just chose them based on relevance and ingenuity that comes with them, and their focus on the Global South. That is, we can easily deploy them in our resource constrained situations. So we looked at things that are happening in countries that are similar to South Africa in terms of the bigger masses that are in those countries. And I also want to say that we have no affiliation in terms of financial or moral ties to the featured companies or organizations. We do not know anyone from there. We did not collect any money from them. So when you see us talk about them, there is nothing that we are gaining from them. It's just that we liked what they are bringing on the table. I need to make this clear. And the sources are based on literature, and they are verified beyond marketing gimmicks, things that they put on their websites, corroboration through other second sources, third parties, I must say. And we tried to be very accurate. Due diligence was applied, but if there is some errors, they are not intentional. So if your company is mentioned here, and then you notice that, oh, I left you behind. And then you notice that maybe we misrepresented or we underrepresented or overrepresented your content, bear in mind that it's just a human error with no malice intended. And we did not implement these tools or test them. We're just presenting them based on the information that we saw from literature. So number one is Twiga Foods. I'm not sure if you know this, but it's a company from Kenya, started in 2014, founded by a Kenyan, Peter Njonjo, and the other gentleman I think is from the US, if I'm not mistaken. So it connects more than 17,000 farmers to 140 retailers via tech-enabled supply chain. And the challenges that they are trying to solve is that there is high food waste due to poor planning and infrastructure, lack of coordination, inefficient delivery routing and stuff like that. And in terms of AI, the two attributes that we saw are that they focus on smart demand forecasting as well as route optimization. And the outcomes that we notice is that there is improved planning in terms of sales and less overstocking and fuel savings. And in terms of business, there is post-harvest reduction, in terms of losses and farmer income increase, fleet efficiency, and retailer network growth. So this company has been around for more than 10 years and is really doing great. Set up in Kenya, and I feel like this can actually be adapted and introduced even in South Africa if it's not already happening, because we just didn't have much time to look for everything that is there. So that is an example of some of their people there, and I think these are tomatoes. And so this is number one. Number two is Ag Unity. So this Ag Unity is at work in East Africa, Ghana, the Caribbean, Southeast Asia. Oh, I repeated Ghana twice. I like Ghana. So the problem that forced them or led them to this innovation is that smallholder farmers, they face problems with record keeping and lack coordination, which results to disorganized harvesting, storage, and distribution, and then leads to significant food spoilage and wastage. So in 2016, this guy called David Davis and his co-founder in London, they joined the hackathon. So that's a place where people have to respond to a particular problem, and then they come up with an idea, and then they implement it to solve that problem. And then they try to tackle this problem. And their innovation is actually tailored for low-cost smartphones, which are in abundance in most parts of South Africa. And they used a blockchain-powered transaction platform And the idea is to digitally empower remote farmers to address financial and digital exclusion. So what happens in here is that if a farmer wants to sell something, they use the blockchain to actually do the transaction, not like to do Bitcoin. This is to just store the data and the information on the chain in a secure way that cannot be tampered with by anyone, so that the seller and the buyer and everybody who is involved is aware of the transaction. So this was what they did, because at that stage, blockchain was the thing, just like generative AI and large language model are the thing now. So recently, they have gone into AI-driven tools that can track and predict farmer behavior, recommending best times to sell, and detect supply chain inefficiencies and so on. And the reporting results in terms of reduction in post-harvest losses, coordination and trust, and greater transparency. So this is AgUnity. We put the links in there so that somebody should be able to go and follow them up. And these are the places in the world where they are active as we speak. You see that there is some spots there in Europe. Those spots are because that's where it came from, but it's tailored for the global south. So that's why you see that there is so much in the global south. Next is Intello Labs. So this is from India. And the challenge, so this is about food quality control. The challenge is that when you are inspecting foodstuffs or agricultural produce, manually it is inconsistent and subjective, and it's time consuming. When you are tired, you end up making mistakes. You throw away something that is good and maybe keep something that is bad. So their solution comes with a number of things. There is a smartphone-based image capture. I know we all have smartphones here, and we take images, maybe just for photos, but for people in this space, you can take an image using a cell phone, which is linked to this app, and then there is automated grading there, and even sorting. And the impact is that there is a decrease in a manual inspection effort. Of course, also an increase in laziness, I think, because you just sit and you do photo like this, then it does the grading and there you go. But that's what AI does. So decrease in food loss and more accurate than manual grading, faster throughput, and the technologies that they use are as shown there. I don't need to mention them one by one, but deep learning, imaging systems, software as a service platform, and cloud-based analytics. And number 4, so there is 3 more to go. Number 4 is Sanku. So Sanku is AI for nutrient-rich food processing. And they work with small-scale flour mills in Tanzania, Malawi, and Rwanda. And the aim is to combat malnutrition by fortifying flour with essential nutrients. You know, in these countries there, they eat a lot of maize meal, pap. So pap, they put in nutrients to make sure that it is enriched. And the AI-driven solution actually uses smart dosifiers to auto-adjust the micronutrient mixture in the flour when doing milling. And then these dosifiers are actually having an Internet of Things kind of thing, where they are equipped with SIM cards, and then the data that is taken from there is taken to the cloud, and there is that kind of like control loop, and it helps to increase accuracy and machine performance. And so that is impact, 700 plus meals equipped with these fortification systems, and they say 7 million customers reached. And that is an example of a small-scale nutrient fortification system that we got. And I think this is something that can be done across many countries with not a lot of investment going into it. Number 5 is cocoa bioethanol. So cocoa bioethanol is also in Kenya. Actually, there is a lot happening in Kenya. And the basis is that they want to use bioethanol for cooking instead of firewood and charcoal. And what they noticed is that their bioethanol equipment that they make for cooking needed some proactive AI-based tools for equipment maintenance and to minimize downtime, and to automate the distribution of fuel and transaction management. So they have a smart Internet of Things-based fuel dispensers that are used in their system. And among other things, they monitor machine health and stock levels. And also it leads to predictive maintenance, ensuring that the dispensers are operating with less downtime. So the impact is that the cooking reliability is generally improved and downtime for the dispensers is also reduced. And the major technologies is basically IoT sensors and logistics optimization. And that is one of their cocoa fuel dispenser system there. And number 6 is Food Chain ID India. Food Chain itself is an American company, I think targeting those big global rich people and stuff. But when it launched in the global south in India, the focus now was in informal and semi-informal supply chains. The purpose is to monitor food safety and traceability, basically for processed and packaged goods. And the role of AI here is to analyze regulatory data and processing tests and inspection reports and supporting traceability of fragmented supply chains. And that is a link there that takes you to more information about what they provide. And the final one, so from when we were doing this research to find out these kind of tools, one thing that stood out is that most of these companies behind the scenes, they use generative AI, but they don't mention it explicitly on their websites or in documents. They just say cloud-based AI system. But when you see the kind of thing that happens, you can actually tell that there is some large language model that is involved behind the scenes. But now, here is something that is happening in the LLM space, specifically targeting food systems in the global south. Before, I had another slide for this place. It was another company that I found. But when I stumbled on this, I thought I should bring it up because I think it is something that is happening as we speak. So this consultative group on international agricultural research, CGIAR, has partnered with AI71, which is a UAE AI company. I think receives big money from the UAE. And they want to come up with an LLM that offers context-aware food system insights. And they had a workshop. June is just a few weeks ago, in June, and they had 860 plus experts involved in the Q&A session. They are trying to come up with the data that they should train this model with. And their aim is to launch this LLM in November this year. So I'm not sure if some people here are part of this because it's tailored for the global south, and here we are meeting from different backgrounds. I'm not sure if there is someone who is involved in this here. Okay, but now that we know, I think it will be good to make a follow-up and check to make sure that our South African voices are included in this. Because for me, when I see that South Africa is not included, then I feel like many countries in the global south are actually not even aware of what is going on this. But the issue is that when they come up with their model, they will stand up and say, this is for the global south. So it's something that maybe we need to follow up. So the potential impact in terms of food systems is mainly in the area of smart policy decisions, because the assumption is that they will have incorporated data from the global south and improve food security, efficient supply chains, and better market intelligence. And these are the 7 that actually made to the top of our list. And from here now, we actually look at the work that we do, starting in a very small way at UWC, because Prof. Julian May has brought us into this space. So, the first thing that we're working on, still in early days, is the role of digital twins in food systems infrastructure, basically in terms of planning. And we are focusing on the Breda Valley municipality, this side of Worcester here, because Prof. Julian May is passionate about Breda Valley. I think he stays there. And it's just to help them automate their infrastructure planning. And the digital twin, in a nutshell, is like a soft twin, like if you have a system, a physical one, then you create a virtual one of it that is on your computer that you can use to study the behavior of the physical one, and maybe transfer some knowledge that you learn from the virtual system to the physical one. So basically that's a digital twin. It has been used a lot in manufacturing, but now it's going into almost everything. Sometimes I think that somebody will make a digital twin of a human being very soon as computation increases. So in the digital twin, there is 4 driving technologies: Internet of Things, as we saw, artificial intelligence. XR is basically a combination of virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and then the cloud computing. So that is the basis. So in terms of our work, in a nutshell, we just completed like a survey paper that is focusing on what is being done on digital twins in food systems. The key findings, I think, that I can point to are 5. The first one being limited sensor coverage on farms, and that makes unreliable real-time data. Poor IoT infrastructure, lack of unified data formats, proprietary systems that block seamless data exchange, and then generic DTs do not fit well to South Africa's agroclimatic conditions. So, going forward for the Breda Valley municipalities infrastructure, the DT that we are working on there, is that we need to go and talk to the people there in terms of what are their challenges, so that we can set clear goals for this kind of digital twins, and then to look at how the DT will connect with the physical system. In other DTs, the connection is seamless by using sensors, but in this case, probably we'll need to find a way as to how they would connect and how we'll feed data in there and identify the types of data and input methods. So that is one project we are doing. The second one is, there is a professor at UWC, she's in nutrition and dietetics. So one of our research for so many years is to go to these shops and capture images like the ones that you see there. So when they get these images, they sit down, and then they sit like in a group like this, maybe 20 people. They check these images, they write down. There are people from nutrition and dietetics. All they check is that, is this food item good for children? So they check policy documents in terms of what is good for the body of a child at a certain age. Then they make recommendations that can be picked up by regulators to push these companies to maybe reduce sugar in this, maybe put this, because for purposes of marketing, these companies, sorry if the companies are here, these ones are just used for illustration, I'm sorry. So not that they are bad, I just picked, there is nothing wrong with this. So, but the companies sometimes they will put too much sugar and stuff like, because they know most children will like to eat things that are tasting nice. All of us, even though some people say, no, don't put sugar in your tea, but secretly they do put. So is to regulate. So, but they do all these things manually. So we're working with them to automate this process, and that is by using computer vision to detect barcodes, ingredient lists, nutrition panels, and to use optical character recognition to extract this information and create those data sets which can further be worked upon by AI tools, NLP and the like, to make sure that all this process happens using AI and these tools. So I'm feeling sorry for the people that Prof. Rina gets to do all this, because they're quite a lot. So it means if you do something like this, they will have, but maybe they will have to learn some AI to still remain in the job. So in here, we're now targeting only those adverts that are in English. But going forward, we're looking at multilingual, different languages. I think at that stage, we'll have to work with Prof. Marivate. And yeah, so at this stage, I think I'll leave the stage for my colleague to continue. And you should ask him all the questions.